All right, welcome everybody to another edition of Home Solutions here on Mix 104.1 and 101.3 The Buzz. Dennis Pervis here with you from Pro 93 Home Solutions as always. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday morning. We're in that part of time of the year where every day has a hint of a thunderstorm, so it's going to be hot and muggy, I can tell you. That's probably going to be our forecast for the next few weeks. And that plays into what we're going to talk about today. Before we get in there, let me just remind you, if you're out there and you've got maybe a project at the house this summer, kids are back in school, whether they're in the school or virtual school, and you just didn't get it done, maybe you need some help finishing up the final details, give us a call at Pro 93. We'd love to help you. We do everything from handyman to full remodeling. We've got a cleaning. Maybe you just want to have your house clean. Now that the kids are gone, you want to clean, disinfect where they were. Give us a call. We'll get one of our folks out to give you a good estimate. And if you want to secure your home with a smart home security system through Vivint, we're an authorized retailer of Vivint Smart Home Security, and we'd love to hear you. You can reach us, as always, at 458-4135. That's 458-4135, or on the web at pro93homesolutions.com. With me today in studio is a man we all need on our speed dial when it's this hot. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Davis from Davis Heating and Air. How you doing, my friend?
Good, Dennis. You doing all right?
I'm doing well, brother. Thanks for being here today. I'm sure you guys probably don't have any business this time of year. It's just slow, nothing going on.
Nothing.
Just dead.
Just sleep late. Take it easy.
I'm thrilled that you got enough time to come to the studio today.
Nobody knows I'm here. So.
Well, I'm assuming the Davis Heating and Air is not a. You might have something to do with the company.
Vaguely.
So tell the listeners out there, no matter how you're listening today, and for those of you that are listening, maybe you're listening in the car, maybe you're headed out today to one of the box stores, one of the local hardware stores, and you've got some home improvements you're doing. Maybe you're listening on the Mix 104.1 app or streaming online, or for everybody out there in Facebook world, we'll wave to the camera. We thank you for joining us. So tell everybody a little bit, what's the Davis Heating and Air story?
Well, almost 50 years ago, Alvin and Beverly Davis, my parents, started the company. Started out in a garage and then moved to what is now Lamar McKenzie State Farm office up on the hill. At that time, it had a dirt floor and had been a plumbing company. Wow. And they moved our business up there, and then a few years later, we built an office just about 2 football fields out this front window here by Duracell. And then 89 or 90, we moved over to our current location right next to Cleveland Utilities. So my parents are retired, or my mom's semi-retired. She comes in, still works a little bit. And so we've been here 47 years in March.
Holy cow. So needless to say, Cleveland's home for you guys.
Yes, so born and raised here, lived here most of my life. My wife and I are both graduates of Lee. So for about 12, 13 years after we graduated, I worked for a company that handled distribution, sales, and training for 2 of the manufacturers of air conditioning companies. And so traveled a lot throughout the Southeast, and then moved back here 2003 and went back to work in the family business and been here since.
That's where you are.
So
obviously locally owned and operated. What sets Davis apart? What's something that that your parents had, obviously for any business to last 47 years, you're doing something right. What do you think that your parents, what was something that they felt was important that's kept you this much staying power?
I think it was just hard work.
Yeah.
And anybody that owns a business, runs a business, it's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of hours in. We put a lot of hours in now. I think trying to be fair, do the right thing, treat your customers, treat your employees, treat vendors, fairly, with respect. And we've tried to do that for, nearly 5 decades now. And it's paid off, and we're here, and it's put kids through college and grandkids through college, and one left in college, and so it's it's allowed us to meet a lot of people, service a lot of customers in this county or in this area, and we just had a call from a gentleman the other day to do some work for, and he's retired, and he goes, your parents put my first 2 units in, and that last one was 22 years ago.
Wow.
So he's ready for his third now. And that's
crazy.
scheduled for next week. So
that is crazy. You think about, as an owner myself, just the work you put into the day-to-day operations, that's just a testimony. 47 years, you got somebody buying their third system, and the last one lasted 22 years.
Yeah.
I need you guys to put in my next heat and air unit. I want to make sure that I can put 22 years, and I know they're not all going to make that long, but
we don't make that promise.
We don't make that promise.
So.
It's not in the warranty,
Yeah.
but no. But it just it's a great story. I mean, it's you meet teachers that stay around to where they are teaching not just kids but sometimes grandkids of students they have. But in a service business like ours in the trades, to be able to have that kind of testimony that this guy there wasn't a question who else he was going to call. Right?
Exactly.
He called you guys, said, "Hey, I'm ready for a new system," and it says a lot to how you guys treat customers, and to what you said, hard work and fairness. And people out there, what I've realized, and you've probably found this to be true, there are people out there that want stuff for free. Most people understand, okay, this is a big purchase, especially a heat and air unit. It affects my everyday comfort. Trust me, Mama gets mad when she gets too cold. Daddy doesn't like. I'm too old and fat to be hot.
Me too.
So we're gonna set that programmable thermostat at the right thing. But people realize, I think if you're just fair with them and they feel like they're getting good value for the money, there's no reason why they're not going to go with you.
Exactly.
What do you guys, as far as how many technicians do you guys have now? How big is the company? What do you guys? What's the state of Davis Heating and Air today?
So we have three crews of technicians out now.
Wow.
So they take care of everything from performing, routine maintenance, to cleaning of systems, to diagnostics and repairs, to, complete system installations, replacement, those sorts of things. Many new systems now, and your business is kind of tied into this somewhat, as, a lot more smart technology.
Yep.
Having things connected to phones, to iPads, to laptops, where you can
the Nest
control it
thermostats.
from, all of those. So, the technology's changed, by leaps and bounds since 1973 and 74 to now.
And what's funny about that is that you probably grew up in a house like I did, where my dad yelled if anybody touched the thermostat. Now it's who touched the iPad or the cell phone and changed the air. Because that's a lot of the systems. That's just what they come with now, and it's a different world. I look at my kids right now and I'm like, they don't know a world without phones and internet.
Oh no, and I won't name any names, but we had a client not too long ago. He would adjust the thermostat from work, and his wife would be wondering what's going on. Just to kind of mess with her a little bit. But people talk now, well, I can, adjust my thermostat from the couch and never have to get up. And, or, have it cool down when I leave the office and it's ready to go when I get home. Or, you take off for that spur of the moment, trip to the lake, and I forgot to adjust my thermostat to, when I'm going. So, it's all changed, and the technology and the equipment's changed.
You're going to keep on. You're going to talk me into a new heating and air
yes.
unit. I hope my wife isn't listening. So how can people get a hold of you, Keith? What's the best contact number for you guys?
Same number we've had since the beginning, 472-4692. It's programmed into a lot of people's phones, but it's easy to find. Go to our website, davisheatingandair.com. So that's easy enough to remember.
That's a good handle for the website.
Yeah, so it's just easy enough to get there, and we've got a lot of information on the website. People can get a hold of us on the weekends, after hours. Our phones answer 24/7, so somebody's always answering the phone. Can take a message. get it to on-call technicians after hours if need be, and or just say, hey, we need somebody to call us Monday, or I just need to schedule something.
Yeah.
So appointments can be scheduled on our website. So that's that's new since the 70s.
Yes.
So
Yeah. I'm sure your dad didn't have that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, listen, we come back. I want to talk a little bit about what we can do as homeowners to basically lengthen the life of our units. And maybe some no-nos that we don't want to do. But we got the expert here today, folks. We come back. Keith's going to give us some tips. Talk a little bit more about what they do there at Davis Heating and Air. Keith Davis is our guest this week. Come on back. Don't move that dial. You're listening to Home Solutions here on Mix 104.1 and 101.3 The Buzz. Welcome back to Home Solutions. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday morning here. Dennis Pervis with you. Here in our second block, we've got Keith Davis from Davis Heating and Air with us today here in studio. Keith, I just want to respond to a couple things you said there in the first block when you were kind of telling your story of the company story. 47 years here in Cleveland. Folks, the question I'm going to want to keep asking you today is, why haven't you called Davis Heating and Air for your heating and air needs, all things at HVAC? We talked about the services you guys provide. One of the things we talked about was maintenance. A lot of people think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't need to call anybody. Why is maintenance such an important part with your HVAC unit?
Well, it's just the same as changing the oil on your car, the air filter on your car.
Yeah.
You have an air filter on your air conditioning system. You have coils that need to be kept clean. The dirtier they get, the more harm it does. Things run hot. Things break down. There are components on the system that can lose tolerances that need to be checked. If they're out of tolerance, get it replaced or corrected to keep a more expensive repair from occurring.
And I think that what stops a lot of people is because they know how much a complete system costs, right? They know, they got an idea that this is going to be thousands of dollars. And it may keep them from calling for that maintenance, but if they get on you guys offer a scheduled major maintenance program where you guys can come out, and how often do you guys recommend people come out?
We recommend at the very minimum once a year,
Yeah.
typically twice a year, and it's $18 a month. So it's very affordable.
Wow.
It can be just drafted just like probably half your other bills are every month.
$18 a month, and you guys will do maintenance.
We come out, you get discounted rates if repairs need to take place down the road, or
so you
need
become part of the
filters, other
Davis
things.
family.
So,
You get
there's
it's like the Davis Mafia over here.
And and it helps keep warranties in effect. Some warranties require at least one maintenance a year. So then you don't have to worry about that. If something breaks down, you're not having to worry, was it an effective maintenance? Was it lack of maintenance? Is it going to be covered? That sort of thing.
$18 a month, that's cheaper than a lot of things I'm paying for right now. And again, you made a good point. It's just like you wouldn't let your car not have regular maintenance. You wouldn't change your tires when they go bald. You wouldn't change the oil when you're running low. You got too many miles. It's a machine that at this time of year is running a lot.
Yeah, and do you want it to break today? No. And
it's my nightmare.
And it gives you priority service as well.
Yeah.
So when you're a part of our maintenance program, that thing
bumps you up the
bumps
list.
you up the list a little bit, and like I said, when these things never break when it's 70. So, it's going to be 100 degrees with a house full of people coming over, or
12 degrees,
or 12 degrees, and you're
Christmas morning.
and you're like, how am I going to keep my pops from freezing? So it's one of those things that needs to be done, and most people, if the house is cool or warm, they don't think about it, but just keep it in mind, and these units run nonstop. Almost 365 days a year, literally just like your car's doing, getting back and forth to work or to the grocery store. The hours of runtime on these things are that much or more.
And speaking of that, which brands do you guys carry?
We've been a Lennox dealer for 31 years now. So we've been one of their certified dealers for decades.
Yeah.
We also sell York, so we have two different brands that, because not everyone has everything, and
Yeah.
some people want this and some people want that. So
Well, yeah, having a little bit of
we give a little bit
give
of
some options to customers,
and we have options for rental properties and things like that.
and you can service any unit. There,
and we
right?
service, yes, all of them.
And just to make sure it's not just residential, I think we talked a little bit off air that you do like
commercial, yes,
like where we're
correct.
sitting in the brand new mixed studios here.
Exactly. So this
Beautiful
was a new
building.
project for us that
Yeah.
we did, and we'll maintain the service and maintenance here moving forward. And
Well, speaking of mix, we got to give a testimonial. Dwayne "The Rock" Williams was in here earlier and wanted to give a shout out that you guys got over there last week, got him taken care of at his home, and he said it was less than a day from his having a problem to being in the cool again, and he was just impressed by the whole thing. So Dwayne's giving you his mark of excellence, which should be a thing. Why don't we have that? Yeah. By the way, note for Steve Hartline, we need Dwayne's marks of excellence. I think that's something that needs to happen here. It's personal testimony there. And again, it goes back to what we talked about in that first block. Treating customers fair, getting things done at a fair price, getting it done when you say you're going to be there. I think so much of being in a trade, we pay for the sins of others.
Oh, yeah.
People who say I'm going to be there at a time and they don't show up, no phone call, no nothing. Like we literally, I feel like we have gotten jobs just because I was at the appointment when I said I was going to be there. They're like, we've called 4 other people and you're the only one that's got here, so just get me an estimate and we're going to do it. And you're just like, oh, okay. But it's I'm sure you guys find that in your business as well, especially this time of year where everybody's so crazy.
It is,
and nuts.
And everybody has hiccups from time to time, and we're certainly
happen.
not immune to that ourselves. But we're doing a job today up in the Charleston area, and he just told me yesterday. He goes, "You're the only one that called me back." And he goes, "I know it's busy." He goes, "It's everybody's schedule's crazy," but he goes, "You were the one that called me back." I said, "Well, great." I said, "Glad I did."
I bought insurance one time that way. I'm like, "Well, you're the only guy that apparently I need to be in the insurance business because nobody's calling anybody back." So when you get for those people that are out there and like, all right, this sounds good. I need to be on maintenance. There's they know you guys can service them. What are some things folks can do in their home on a day-to-day or weekly, monthly basis that will extend the life or care of their unit?
Number one, keep your filter clean. Everybody has an air filter. Those air filters are there originally to protect the equipment, to keep them from clogging up with dust and hair and pollen and all that good stuff.
Small animals.
That's in our air, yeah. And now, besides protecting the equipment, they're there to protect the environment. People with asthma, people with allergies, all these sorts of things. So number one, keep that clean. Number two, the unit that sits outside your house, keep stuff away from it. Grass, don't blow grass into it if you're mowing the yard. Keep the weed eaters away from it. I can't tell you how many houses we go to where somebody's hit one of the electrical wires with a weed eater and it shuts the unit down.
Yeah.
Don't build things over the top of it. Try not to build things around it that are permanent, because eventually it's got to come out and a new one's got to go in.
Yeah.
And the new one is going to be bigger.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And but that's the biggest thing. Just little things. The air filter, keeping things away from the outside unit. A lot of the drain lines now, if you have a part of your unit in a basement or a garage, has a little clean out port. Pour the little blue cap that comes on a Clorox bottle.
Yeah.
Fill that little blue cap up and pour just a drop or two of Clorox down that drain ever so often, just to keep the nasty sludge that gets in these drains cleaned out. So those are the biggest things. And then at least once a year, twice a year, have a professional out to go through the system thoroughly. All the new systems now, the manufacturers no longer want chemicals put on these units, just water. So it's important to get these things cleaned, get enough pressure to clean them properly. make sure they stay clean so that we don't have to put chemicals on them to get it clean.
Yeah. You talked about filters. So you go to the filter aisle. There's quite a different disparity in price and quality. And I'm in a house with a couple of folks that have asthma. So I don't know if I'm throwing money away is what I'm asking you. And I think a lot of people ask you that. We always buy like the top of the line stuff that's supposed to help dust and, for folks with asthma. Is that worth the money to make those investments, or is the cheap $2 version the same thing?
You have to be careful. A lot of the filter manufacturers, they design filters to stop stuff. Everything that they can get to stop within a certain category. Yeah. Unfortunately, some of them stop airflow from going through. That
was my question. Is it taxing my system?
Taxes the unit. Some of the older systems just aren't designed for these filters. So if you look to change your filter and it's sucked in, or you have to pull it hard to get it out, stop using it. Go back to a cheaper throwaway. Yeah, exactly. And many air conditioning manufacturers, furnace manufacturers, are now either working with filter manufacturers or have their own in-house air quality groups to design their own filters to protect not only the equipment, to provide the correct amount of airflow to it, but also to take care of pollen and dust and bacteria. And of course, in a time of COVID now, ultraviolet lights, we have some air quality devices now that we can't even get for 12 to 14 weeks.
Wow.
Because of the COVID situation.
So is there a filter you recommend?
We sell some that, if you have the space and the ability to do it, a 4 or 5 inch pleated filter is better than the little 1 inch ones.
Okay.
Because it has more surface areas, it can catch and trap more things. Not everybody can put that in.
Yeah.
If you have the typical 1 inch, just get the little cheap blue throwaway, put it in there, keep an eye on it. When it gets dirty, swap it out.
What do you tell people how often do they need to swap those filters?
When it gets dirty.
Okay.
So if that's 3 months, that's great. If it's 6 months, that's fine. If it's 2 weeks, change it every 2 weeks.
I'm going to go back to buying the cheap ones. I'm excited about that. You've saved me some money today already, Keith. How can people get a hold of you guys?
472-4692 or davisheatingandair.com. We're easy to find.
Brother.
Or drive right by Cleveland Utilities, and we're the next building.
He's already saving me money, and he hadn't even come to my house yet. This is fantastic. Folks, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more with Keith about things we can do in our home. We're also going to talk a little bit about more of the products and services that they offer. So hang in there with us. Don't touch that dial. We will be back here in just a few minutes. You're listening to Home Solutions right here, Mix 104.1, 101.3 The Buzz. Welcome back, everybody, to the third block here today of Home Solutions, Mix 104.1, 101.3 The Buzz. Dennis Pervis from Pro 93 Home Solutions here with you. Folks, we're happy to have Keith Davis from Davis Heating and Air with us today, talking all things HVAC. So we've avoided the topic here for a couple segments, but we got to get into heat and air systems. They ain't cheap. When you need a new system, this is for a lot of folks and a lot of homes, this is a major purchase. What kind of options do you guys have, or that are out there for folks that maybe either going without, especially in this heat right now, but we're getting what's even more serious is coming into the fall and winter months. Are there financing options available that you guys offer? Are there other programs that folks can get into? How do you? Listen, no matter what the brand, what it is, a new unit's thousands of dollars. That's what they're looking at.
And most new systems today are the price of a quality used car or a new car.
But they probably last longer than some of those.
Some, and a lot of people just don't have thousands of dollars sitting around at the spur of the moment when their unit breaks unexpectedly. So there's a variety of financing options that are available. Most manufacturers partner with some finance companies, and they'll occasionally in the fall or spring have promotional financing, the 0% for 60 months or things like that. Probably the most used program that we have, and the program that has been around our area for 30 plus years, is the TVA heat pump loan program. So, and that's been rebranded lately. It's called the E-Score program through TVA. But Cleveland Utilities and Volunteer Electric both participate in that.
Okay.
So any homeowner that needs a new heating or air system, and the one caveat to that is that there has to be a heat pump involved to do that. You can have a heat pump with gas, but there has to be a heat pump involved. They can talk to either utility. Just pick up the phone, call. They'll take your information over the telephone. They'll let you know if you're approved or not, typically within a day, sometimes half a day. And they finance these for 120 months. It's 6% interest. It just gets added to your utility bill. So you're not having to worry about another bill coming, in your email or your mailbox and paying it. Your electric bill gets here. There's a line item on there that basically says heat pump loan.
And that makes it an
and you mail one check.
Option. Yeah.
And, the average system that's replaced is, well under $100 a month.
Wow. That's a lot easier to bite off than thousands.
And it gives a lot of people need to replace more than just a unit. They maybe have an old duct system, that distributes the air through the house that's 30 years old, 40 years old, and it just is worn out and needs to be replaced.
Now, are there only certain companies that are set up with this program, or is it?
There are certain companies that are approved through that program, and there's certain things you have to do with continuing ed. You have to have certain qualifications to participate in that program, and they'll provide you a list of those that are authorized to
and
do
on there
it.
They'll see Davis.
And on there they'll see us, and
that's who you should call.
And years ago, my dad helped writing that program.
Wow.
So that's how far back it goes. So it was, back when I was probably in what was then called junior high school.
Yes.
So it's a very good program. They send someone, the utility companies send someone out to verify that the work's done correctly, that whatever we said we were putting in is actually what was installed. And they also give you ideas if there's other energy saving things that they notice while they're there. They'll give you that and recommend that to you as well.
Well, that's a fantastic program. I mean, 6% interest on basically a chattel loan, which is what it is.
Yeah.
You can't touch that a lot of places right now.
Yeah, it's a good program, and it's solid, and like I say, you get the free inspection from the utility personnel, so you have a third party that's coming out and just verifying. And if they see something, they pick up the phone and call and say, hey, here's something we saw, your guys may have missed or just overlooked or things like that, and it gets taken care of.
So it's another level of security as well, as far as making sure everything's done correctly.
Exactly.
So you've been doing this a long time. Your family's been doing this a long time. What's the number one reason what's a preventable reason that you get a phone call that my house isn't getting cool or I'm not getting any heat?
Probably number one is dirty filter.
Really?
And it causes a problem.
It's overworking the system, correct?
Yeah. And then 1A or number 2 is lack of maintenance.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking care of it. It's got dirty, it's got clogged up, or things have got out of tolerance and it's caused something to go bad that's now a far more expensive repair than what it could have been.
So I think the message today, folks, if you're out there listening and you're watching us on Facebook, get on a regular maintenance program. You can call Davis Heat and Air at what phone number?
472-4692.
And give them a call. Or you can go online to
davisheatingandair.com.
See, it's that easy. Schedule an appointment. They'll talk, or you can just make a phone call. Talk to them about their maintenance program. You said as low as $18 a month?
$18 a month.
$18 a month, folks, to make sure you've got a professional coming out and making sure that the right stuff's being done with your unit. And then with that $18 a month, how often do you come out a year?
Twice a year.
Perfect. So you're getting double what you would recommend to have somebody out there catching stuff, hopefully before it happens.
Yeah.
And if there is some stuff growing, I know this because I just went out 2 weekends ago and did a lot of yard work, made sure everything was was nice around there because it's yeah. You talk about weed eater damage or just stuff growing. I know a lot of folks, and we see this too. People ask us, they don't like the sight of their heating and air unit, as if that would keep someone from ever buying or selling a house. Oh, it's got a heat and air unit on it? What a surprise. I don't like it. I mean, yes, they may not be the most aesthetically things, but planting big monkey grass bushes in front of it or behind it or around it to hide it isn't exactly the best course of action. And then, again, we get called out a lot for folks to want to build something over it. They want to build let's build a pergola or a shed or a fence. And fences are one thing, but folks, what you got to remember is whatever is going in there at some point's got to come out because that unit's got to come out. And given, we just got called to a house the other day for a real estate agent here in town. The unit needed to be replaced. HVAC is like we're not taking down this fence. It's not our fence. That's not what we do. They called us out just to take down an 8-foot privacy fence that they had built around this thing. That there was no way you could get anything in and out. Post had 4x4 posts we had to take out of the ground to let them have access. Doing those kind of things only makes your job exponentially harder, correct?
And more expensive.
That's Keith's sitting here, folks, trying to save us money today. And he's already saved me some because I'm going to stop buying the Mac Daddy air filters and getting the cheapos with the blue screens in them. All right, so we've talked a little bit about that. On your products, what's the typical warranty right now for heating and air units?
Most all manufacturers now, with the exception maybe of one or two, these units carry a 10-year parts warranty.
Yeah.
So typically there's a 1-year labor warranty from most companies. Some manufacturers offer 10-year labor coverage to go with the parts coverage. And I talk to people in terms, if that warranty is through the manufacturer, that labor coverage, that's a good value because they're going to stand with it. If it's through a third party, insurance company, warranty company, things like that, just, it's kind of a buyer beware things because in my career, I've had 3 of those go out of business.
Yeah.
And then
Especially
that leaves people, just with something that they can't use.
How do you deal with folks that are home warranties worth it? I know a lot of people buy home warranties with the heating and air unit in mind and major appliances. Those are the things they're thinking. Water heaters or especially if they got a tankless. The big ticket items kind of in your house when they go bad. In your opinion, are those things worth it, or is it, again, buyer beware where you're getting it from?
It's, again, buyer beware because typically, someone buys a house, it's included with the purchase of the house, but then they have to renew that. So there's a fee, whatever that fee is to renew it. Most home warranty companies charge a deductible. So now you're paying, besides the fee, you're paying a deductible to get someone out to your house to look at whatever it is, your washing machine or your heating and air unit or whatever. And
when it's all said and done, you probably could have bought 2 heating and air units.
Yeah, and then, this time of year with these, with some of the home warranty companies, they may say, well, it's, we got to send somebody from Nashville to Cleveland or we can't get anybody there for 2 days or, things like that. So, it comes with the house, take advantage of it the first year, but then, typically when we get involved with those, we don't do work for home warranty companies. So the customer pays us and then whatever they can get back from the home warranty company, then they get reimbursed whatever they can.
And I think what you're saying right there without having to say it is when you've got a company that's been around for 47 years and has a name like you guys have in town, see your trucks, bands around town, if you're not going to do work for those kind of companies, there's a reason. So folks, Keith has done nothing but give us some honest truth today to save us some money. Cheap air filters are just as good and probably better for your system. We've reviewed today. Regular maintenance everybody needs to be doing that right now. You can give them a call today. They can get you set up for as little as $18 a month, folks. $18. Most of you are going to spend more on that tonight at dinner or today at lunch. It's give them a call. One more time, how do they get a hold of you guys?
DavisHeatingandAir.com.
Yep.
So our company name .com.
That's it.
Or 472-4692.
Folks, One more time. Why aren't you calling them? Why haven't you called them yet? If you've got problems, you hear that thing. I think the other thing, too, is we like to hear so many times people are like, I don't think that motor's sounding the way it's supposed to. When you hear that, you need to be making a phone call.
Yeah, don't wait till it stops.
Don't wait till it's, yeah, motors do, you know,
And
it's
if
the same
it
thing.
sounds funny, then it probably is.
Yes, there's
because
something going wrong. Something's not where it's
you
supposed to
hear
be.
it all the time.
Yeah, and
So.
if it's different sound, you need to pick up the phone and give them a call, or simply go online. You said you can book appointment right there online, correct?
Yep, you can fill out a form. It goes straight to our email, and we call and get it scheduled.
And you guys do emergency calls after hours?
Call the number, somebody answers, they'll get a hold of a technician.
Folks, there's a reason they've been around for 47 years. Give Davis Heaton and Air a call. You know, Keith's been so nice. I hate to do what we're about to do to him, but you know, I'm trying to get a win here. In our fourth block every week, we play a little game called Mythbusters, and today it'll be Mythbusters HVAC edition. And we're going to play that when we get back. I've got some good ones there, Keith. I'm going to stump him today. I'm finally going to win this game. I feel it. I've got some good ones ready. I don't think he's prepared for it. 47 years or not, I'm going to get you today, Keith. We come back. We'll play a little Mythbusters. Have a little fun here. You were listening to Home Solutions right here on Mix 104.1 or 101.3 The Buzz. Welcome back, everybody. Getting close to the top of the hour here at Home Solutions. In the studio with me today, the lovely, the talented Keith Davis from Davis Heating and Air. I am building him up because I'm about to tear that out from under him because we're going to play a little game, Keith. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Mythbusters, HVAC style. I've got some common myths that I know you HVAC guys don't want us to know. You don't want us out here in the public to know about these things that sometimes we don't even need you guys, Keith. You know that? Number one, if there's nothing wrong with my unit, why in the world would I pay somebody to come look at it, Keith? There's no need for a professional if everything's fine.
Busted.
Busted?
Yep.
It's not, there's nothing wrong with it, Keith. You got to tell me why.
You've got to keep it up.
Oh,
Got to make sure it's clean.
I forgot
Got to
about
make sure things are operating correctly. Because we don't want Dennis getting hot when it's 95 degrees outside.
Now listen, we talked about this next one. I'm going to give you that one. I gave you a softball there to start. You know, you keep talking about all these filters, but I know because my mama's brother's uncle told me that he used to work for Heat and Air Company, and you all are in cahoots with all those air filter companies, and you don't really need to change your air filter but once a year.
Busted.
Busted? You're not in cahoots? There's not a cabal between the heating and air units and the filter manufacturers?
No, we really like to sell filters. No, it's one of those things, if it's dirty, change it.
Yeah.
Now, that may be once a month, once a year, once every 6 months, or once every 2 weeks. Just depends on the house, depends on the kids, depends on how many dogs and cats you've got running around. All of those things take into effect how fast or how long that filter will last or need to be replaced.
Whatever, Keith. You and your busting my myths. All right, next one. Are you ready for this one? This one's a good one. I feel good about this one. If I want it to cool down faster, I just got to set the thermostat lower than what I really want, and it'll speed everything up and get it colder in the house.
Busted.
What? That's science. That's science, Keith.
So you can turn the thermostat down to make it colder, but it's not going to do it any faster than if you set it there
It
and leave
doesn't go
it.
into ludicrous speed. And that was a Spaceballs
there's
reference for
no-
all of you listening.
You know, what is it? Warp speed?
Yes.
You know, from Star
Yes.
Trek. So it.
Ooh, we got a Star Wars, Spaceballs, and a Star Trek reference into this. We just hit the nerd
Trifecta.
jackpot. That was a good one for us. So you're saying that it's not going to go any faster. It's still going to get cold at the same rate, whether you turned it down 2 degrees or 12.
And the hotter it is outside, the longer it's going to run. And the one we get the most is it's not getting below 76 in my house. I've got it set on 68. Well, if it's not getting below 76, it's sure not going to keep it 68. So it just pick up the phone and call.
Math is a hard thing to explain sometimes over the phone, Keith. You got to really be there in person to explain it. Now, all right, so the next myth is if I turn my system on and off when I'm not using it, that saves me a ton of energy.
Half busted.
Oh, that means half confirmed,
Half
folks.
busted.
All
I'll
right.
give you part of that one. So you go to bed at night. In the summertime, you want it cooler. So 68 degrees is the optimal temperature for sleeping.
Let's talk about that one more time. But just I want to hop in here real quick because I would like my wife to hear this. What is the optimal temperature?
Is for your wife specific. No. This is
What
for all the wives out there.
Yes, for all the wives out there.
68 degrees.
68 degrees is an optimal. You're expert. He is an expert witness, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I can't. I'm going to, listen, Austin's in studio here with us. I'm going to need a copy of this that I can then play for my wife repeatedly. Is that all right? Will do. He's got it. He's got
it's even
control.
On the iPad.
And this
Mixed
is going to be on
TV.
Facebook.
There it's going to be
68. Oh, we fight it. Oh, thank you.
So that's turning it down lower. When you get up of the morning, you turn it up warmer for the day. It's going to cycle off. In the winter, our houses, we don't get too extremely cold here. There's no point in heating your house when everybody's tucked in the covers sound asleep.
Yeah.
So turn that thermostat down in the winter. 65, 63.
Yeah.
Unless we're in the teens, none of our houses are going to get down to 63.
Yeah.
Not where we live and with the way our houses are built. So why run your unit at night and waste that energy when you're in bed asleep and you don't know if it's 64, 66, 68?
Keith, you're like,
leave that off.
I like coupons and discounts, and you're becoming one of my new best friends because you're just saving me money. I love it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to take it easy on this next myth. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Bigger is always better with your heat system.
Bigger's better if you win the lotto.
Gotcha.
With air conditioning, bigger is almost never better. With air conditioning systems, the more they turn on and off, the more energy they use. So when we have a unit that's bigger, it's going to turn on and off far more frequently than one that's sized properly.
Yeah.
The more it turns on and off, the more you're going to notice when you walk into your closet to get a purse out or a belt out or some shoes out that you now have mildew growing on your shoes or your purse because these units can't remove enough moisture from the air in the house because they're turning on and off too frequently.
Wow.
So in air conditioning, slightly smaller is better than way bigger.
All right. Here's one. You should cover your air conditioner in the winter.
We have a lot of heat pumps here. They have to run during the winter. So
Yeah.
do not cover it in the winter.
Not a good plan.
Not a good plan.
We have a lot of transplanted Yankees around here, though. I just remember my grandparents. That was like, get out there and we used to put the storm plastic up on the windows and then go outside and do it outside. But of course, that was back when there was no building codes.
Yeah.
And we were living in a house that had probably no insulation. All right, last one. Closing vents in a room that I don't want it to be that cold or that hot, that's going to save me energy.
This goes back to those reasons we get calls because something's not working. Don't close vents. These units are sized to get rid of a certain amount of air and take in a certain amount of air. Also, the vents that blow the air out, don't put any filters in those. Don't put any, what are the little things you throw in the dryer? The
dryer vent.
Yeah, don't put any of those in there to do all that because it just restricts the amount of air coming out. Also, when you close a room off, if it's 95 outside, now all of a sudden you've brought that outside wall right into your hallway.
Oh.
Because you've shut the air off in that room and that heat just comes right into your hallway.
Hear that, kids? You hear that, teenage daughter? Open your vent.
And leave the doors open.
Open your vent.
And open the vents.
Well, because it makes sense. That unit is sized for that size home. And if you're cutting part of it off, now you've got a bigger unit than you really need for that size
And
house.
it's got to circulate.
Yeah.
So we got to put air in the room and take air out of the room.
Keith, I'm gonna get you off easy on that because that was pretty good. You did really good. I got a half confirmed. That's more than I usually get.
There you go.
So I feel pretty good about myself today. I'm gonna walk out here with my head held high. You've saved me money. You've saved our listeners money.
I've got the temperature down in your house at
You
night
got
to sleep.
yeah, I've got an expert witness to bring. I don't know that it's going to make any difference 'cause while being the prosecution, she is also the judge and jury. So I don't know that I've helped myself other than just because I feel happy about it. I can feel more justified and not just because I like it better. But one more time, for everybody out there listening, you need to call Davis Heating and Air. You can get a hold of them at
472-4692 or davisheatingandair.com.
Give him a call, folks. Get on that maintenance program. I'm going to be talking to him as soon as we get done about what I need to do to get on that because it's for $18 a month. It seems crazy. By the end of the year, that I just actually did the math during the break just now. That's less than I spent on oil changes for a year. And I just put in a new unit a couple years ago, and I don't want to do it again for a while because it hurt. Keith, thank you so much for being here today, man.
Oh, glad to be here.
Glad to meet you. Glad to have you in here. Thanks for all the education. Folks, 47-year-old business started right here in Cleveland. Folks, give them a call. Look them up online. They'll be there for you. During the business hours, they've got emergency services, great products, great information, great education, and a family and a name here in town that you can trust. So with that, we're going to sign off. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Guys, we're all it's crazy right now with schools and everything and COVID and everything going on with our lives. Just remember, love one another. We're all in this together. We're praying for everybody out there. Love everybody. See you next week. You've been listening to Home Solutions right here on Mix 104.1 or 101.3 The Buzz.